Hello children, welcome all once again in my channel English Tutorial with Rachna. So hey dear, today I'm going to teach you the 5th chapter of your English class 8th book Honeydew, The Summit Within. So what does the title of the chapter The Summit Within mean? So first of all, let me tell you that this chapter The Summit Within is written by Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia. Now, who is Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia and what in this chapter The Summit Within he has explained? Let us read about the chapter and the author and come to know. So first of all, we have the introduction of the chapter. So this chapter is written by Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia, who was member of the first successful Indian expedition to Mount Everest in 1965. So yes, dear student, when from India, the first successful expedition on Mount Everest was done in 1965. So Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia was one among them to climb on Mount Everest successfully. And in this lesson, he has talked about his experiences of climbing the world's highest summit, the highest peak of the world. How did he feel after climbing the highest peak of the earth? In this chapter, he has shared his experience with you all, and after that he has also told that after climbing the peak of outer world, he also tried to peak of his inner world too. So what does he mean by reaching the peak of your inner insight? What does it mean? Let's read. He tells the reader how the physical conquest changes one on a personal and a spiritual level. After talking about climbing the physical summit, the physical peak, he has also talked about the task of climbing the summit within. So what is this summit within? Let us read the chapter paragraph wise and come to. So we will have the explanation of the chapter first of all. Of all the emotion which surged though as me, as I stood on the summit of Everest, looking over miles of panorama below us, dominant one, I think, was humility. So what does this mean by author? He said that among all the feelings which he felt when he was standing on the peak, on the highest point of Mount Everest, so he experienced many feelings at the same time, and among all those feelings, what was the dominant feeling that he felt was the feeling of humility. Why he felt this feeling of humility? Let me tell you. The physical in me seemed to say, thank God, it's all over. The writer is saying that his body, what does this mean, physical in me? The physical in me means the body of the author, Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia's body, seemed to say at that time to him, thank God, it's all over. So his body seemed to say, he was not sure that what his soul was saying at the time, but his body seemed to say that thank God it's all over, as he was too exhausted till that time. However, instead of being jubilant, there was a tinge of sadness. Was it because I had already done the ultimate in climbing, and there would be nothing higher to climb, and all roads hereafter would lead down? The author is saying that, however, though, in place of being very happy that he had done such a great achievement, that he has reached on the highest point, on the highest peak of the world, So in place of being happy, there was a slight feeling of sadness in author at that time. So author later started thinking that why at that time he felt sadness too. So he was trying to get the answer of this question, and he thought that whether it was because he has reached at the highest point of the world and there was nothing higher than that, and after that point, everywhere all the land in the earth on the all the land in the world from that point go down, that will go down, it will be lower than that. Now let me explain the meaning of some of the difficult word in this paragraph. So surged means arose. Okay, surge is the first form and surge is the second form. So arise is the first form and arose is the second form. So arose suddenly and intensely, intensity with full intensity and suddenly. So when you have a flow of feeling you can't control, that is called surged. Summit means the highest point of a mountain. Panorama means view of a wide area, okay, like ground and all. Humility means the quality of having a modest or low of one's importance, view of one's importance. Jubilant means I told you very happy because of success. Untinged means raise or sad. So there was some sadness of some sadness in him at that time. By climbing the summit of Everest, you are overwhelmed by a deep sense of joy and thankfulness. It is a joy that lasts a lifetime. The experience changes you completely. The man who has been to the mountain is never the same again. Now, what is the author saying? That once you have reached at the peak of any mountain, you are overwhelmed, you are so much emotional by a sense of joy and thankfulness at the time, and you get such kind of joy that will never get over, that will never finish throughout, and that joy will remain with you lifetime. You get a kind of joy that will remain lifetime once you have done such kind of a thing. The experience changes you completely. The author is saying that the experience of reaching the peak of the world, you can say the peak of such a mountain which is the highest in the world, it changes you completely. How does it change you? The man who has reached the peak of Mount Everest has been to the mountain is never the same again. And now, according to the author, the person who has lived on mountain for many days or for months, after that the person never remain the same as he was able. As I look back at life after climbing Everest, I cannot help remarking about the other summit, the summit of the mind. No less formidable, no easier to climb. And author is saying that once he has reached the highest point of the world, that is the peak of the Mount Everest, he could not stop himself from reaching the highest point which was there in him, which was there inside him, and that was the summit of his mind. He could not stop him from reaching the from reaching the peak of his mind. He wanted to reach the peak of his mind too, no less formidable, and that feeling was very strong in him that he could not stop himself from reaching there. And according to the author, reaching on the peak of your mind is not a very easy thing, you can say, or even it is not a bit easy from reaching the peak of a mountain. It is not less formidable and no easier to climb. Formidable means strong and powerful, so it is not less strong and powerful than reaching the climb of a mountain. Even when getting down from the summit, once the physical exhaustion has gone, I began asking myself the question why I had climbed Mount Everest. He's saying that once he has reached the Mount Everest, and after some days, when physical exhaustion from him had gone over, when it get over, then he started questioning himself. Then he started asking himself that why did he want to climb on the Mount Everest? Why there was such type of ambition or feeling, or you can say that wish was there in him, that he wanted to reach to the highest point of the world. Why did the act of reaching the summit have such a hold on my imagination? He is saying that he started asking himself that why it was such a powerful feeling in him to reach on the highest point of the world. It was already a thing of the past, something done yesterday with. And author started asking himself this question, though it was a past incident. Now this was not a act he is supposed to do. It was a past incident he has already done. Still he was asking himself that why he wanted to do that. With every passing hour it would become more remote, and then what would remain? Would my memories fade slowly away? Okay, and with every passing hour this question was just grabbing his imagination, his the author's imagination, that he could not stop himself. He was just finding himself alone with that question, that why did he try to reach on the Mount Everest. And he started feeling that if he would not try to give himself the answer of that question, then probably he would lose his memory very soon. All these thoughts led me to question myself as to why people climb mountains. It is not easy to answer the questions. The simplest answer would be, as others have said, because it is there. Now, one of the very easy answer the people give of it, that why do people want to reach the peak of any mountain? The simple answer of this question is that because there are mountain peak, and that is why people want to reach on it, people want to climb on it. So first of all, author thought of this answer, that whether it would be, it presents great difficulties. Mountain present great difficulties in front of human being, and probably the reason why human beings try to climb on any mountain peak, because mountain seems to present great difficulty in front of human being, and human beings gets immense pleasure, immense delight in overcoming obstacle, in overcoming problems. Human beings gets immense pleasure, immense happiness in overcoming, in winning over the problems. The obstacle in climbing a mountain are physical. Author is saying that once you have decided to reach on a mountain peak, so you need to take a physical courage. A climb to a summit means endurance, persistence, and willpower. It, if you have decided to reach on the summit of a mountain, you need to have endurance, persistence, and willpower. And the demonstration of these physical qualities is no doubt exhilarating, as it was for me also. And when you have these type of quality, when you have endurance, persistence, and willpower, and you have the willpower to demonstrate these qualities, so these physical qualities seems to be very exhilarating, very exciting, and it was there in author too. Let me explain the meaning of some word. Endurance means tolerance. Persistence means the fact of continuing in a course of action. Persistence means continuity, you can say. That once if you have started any action, how continuously you are doing that. Okay. Exhilarating means very exciting, I told you. Hello children, welcome all once again in my channel English Tutorial with Rachna. So hey dear, today I'm going to teach you the 5th chapter of your English class 8th book Honeydew, The Summit Within. So what does the title of the chapter The Summit Within mean? So first of all, let me tell you that this chapter The Summit Within is written by Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia. Now, who is Major H.P.S. Ahluwalia and what in this chapter The Summit Within he has explained? Let us read about the chapter and the author and come to know. Once having granted this, the questions remain: why why Everest? Because it is greatest, the mightiest, and has defied many previous attempts. Once he has got the answer of this question, that why did he want to reach the peak of mountain, he started questioning himself that did he choose the Mount Everest only? Why did he want to reach on the peak of Mount Everest only? So the answer of this question could be that because it was the highest, it was the mightiest, and has defied means denied. Okay, so many people have attempted to reach on its peak, but they failed. Okay, they could not climb on its mountain, so it has defied many previous attempts. It takes the last ounce of one's energy. It is a brutal struggle with rock and ice. So climbing on the peak of Mount Everest is like it takes you the last ounce of your body's energy, and it is like doing a brutal struggle with rock and ice. Once taken up, it cannot be given up halfway, even when one's life is at stake. And according to the author, once you have decided to climb on the peak of Mount Everest and you have reached it till half of its way, you cannot give up. Even if your life is in stake, even if your life is in danger, at stake means danger. So even if your life is in danger, though still you cannot leave the attempt of climbing on the peak of it. Okay, because the passes back is as difficult as the passes onward. So why you can't come back? Because once you have reached half of the way of the mountains, so if you try to come back downward, so it is as difficult as climbing upward. And then when the summit is climbed, there is the exhilaration, the joy of having done something, the sense of a battle fought and won. And once you have reached on the peak of the Mount Everest, there is a feeling of excitement in you. You have the joy of having done something. You feel that you have done something in your life. You feel that you have fought a battle and won that. There is a feeling of victory and of happiness. So in you, how do you feel at the time? You feel a feeling of victory and happiness at the time. And glimpsing a peak in the distance, I get transported to another world. Author is sharing his feeling that when he had not reached on the peak of the Mount Everest, so when he would see at its peak from distance, he would get transported in another world. He would find himself in another world. I experienced a change within myself which can only be called mystical. He felt a kind of change in himself, which he could describe as that change was mystical by its beauty, aloofness, might, ruggedness, and the difficulties encountered on the way. The peak draws me to it, as Everest did. It is a challenge that is difficult to resist. So, the beauty, aloofness means you can say aloneness, and might means its strength, its ruggedness, okay, and all the difficulties that could be come while climbing on its peak. So all that, okay, would draw to the author towards it. So when he would when he would look at the peak of the Mount Everest, when he had notched climbed on it, so it would draw itself, it would draw to the author towards itself, and it used to pose a great challenge that the author could not resist himself from climbing on it. Now, defied means, I told you, frustrated or resisted means denied. Brutal means unpleasant or harsh. Cleansing means catch or get sight of. Mystical means inspiring a sense of spiritual mystery, fascination. Aloofness means distance. Ruggedness means roughly or irregular. So dear student, in this video I have explained till the first part of this chapter, as it is going very long, and I hope first of all I would like to thank you for watching this video, and at the end I would like to make you a request that please do three things: like, comment and subscribe. Thank you.